Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Box Seats. This is the show we talk about sports with comedians. Let me bring up my friend Jason Hayes, filmmaker. Jay, how you doing, sir? While we wait for a couple of comics to come in, how you doing, sir?
Hey, it's all good, bro. Good to be
Uh,
back in here.
yeah, it is, man. Because ultimately, feel like I got a lot of stuff to get off my chest when I don't be in his. You know how it is, man. You got
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get stuff.
Everything start happening when you're not here.
Right, bro. Do you know how much news dropped? I was off a couple of days. How much news dropped? I was like, wow,
Crazy,
okay, yeah, it's
crazy
crazy.
stuff.
So while we wait for Rodney Perry and a couple other guys to jump in, man, I want to talk to you first thing about the Saquon Barkley situation, man. We get to the regular news because I didn't want to do this today's show as a debate show. While we wait for other cats to come in, I want to
Mhm.
talk to you about the Saquon Barkley thing, the situation. If you're the Giants, bro, this looks really, 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 really bad. Like, how do you, Jason? Can I just say this before I even ask you the question? Do you ever sit there and wonder how some people get to have their job? Does that thought ever cross your mind? Like,
No,
because it
it
doesn't.
doesn't.
Okay, it
No,
crosses.
because I've been around for a long time and I've got a chance to meet a lot of people,
Mhm.
in high profile positions that people think are really smart. And then if you
Right.
meet enough people, you realize they're really not as smart as you think they are.
Yeah. 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 So I sit there and have this because we go through job interviews. You've got, especially for a job like that, you got to sit down and talk to other people for at least three. It's not like I go to you and I'm going to a job at McDonald's. We got one job interview, you hired. You go to a hotel, you get one job, one interview, you hired. To
Right.
be a GM or to be somebody, an assistant GM, to be somebody in management ownership, I'm sure they have lengthy conversations with you. Let's say it's one interview. Let's just say one interview. They're not having a 15-minute interview. They're having an interview with you for 3 or 4 hours easily. So when you're sitting there and you're having a conversation with somebody and the topic says, okay, so Saquon Barkley, how are we thinking about how we're going to handle? And you say this, and then there are cameras on you, focusing on you.
Right.
I guess the question to you is, bro, is how bad do the Giants look to you?
Bro, I mean, it's such a horrible look because literally, he's on camera saying two of the worst things any GM could ever get it caught saying.
Right.
One thing was he didn't want to pay the running back. That was egregious. I mean, while acknowledging that he was the best player on the team and the heart and soul of the franchise, he was still willing to let him walk because somehow he thought, because he undervalued him, he thought that when he hit the open market that he was going to be undervalued by everybody else. Some people trying to win for real, baby. You know what I'm saying? He's
Right.
not trying to win for real. And
Right.
the icing on the cake was his 11 or 12-year-old son said, listen, take Jaden Daniels, right? He said you should trade up and take Jaden Daniels. And he did none of those things. So that's why, it looks extra terrible to him right now.
So, Jason, should we get his 11-year-old son to be the GM of
He
the
should be the GM. Get him an account to
Giants?
handle the numbers, man. Let him do the picks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rodney Perry is joining the show right now. Rodney Perry, how you doing, sir? How's everything, bro?
I'm great, man. Y'all sideways or straight up and down?
Sideways. Yeah, do your sideways. Jason's the only one. Jason, put your thing sideways like this, bro. Put your thing sideways like that.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Hold
yeah,
up.
yeah. Hold your camera like that. Why you
Now,
do
you
that?
know
I'm talking.
what? I got to do it later
Okay, all right.
because
So,
it's
hey,
locked off.
okay, so
hey,
so
my
right.
boy was saying that it might be better to be straight up and down because you can change the configuration to fit on Instagram better.
It's a better
Uh,
frame.
that's true. I didn't think of that. Rodney Perry, what's your thought process on this? We were talking about Saquon Barkley being the highest paid earning back and how bad, and not just bad, how horrible right now the GMs of the Giants and everybody else looks because it's like they keep piling on. First, Saquon becomes a phenomenal, MVP caliber, running back during the season. Then they get to the playoffs. Then now they get to the NFC Championship. Then they get to the Super Bowl. Then they win the Super Bowl in dramatic fashion. It's like one after another, after another, after another. I don't know, man. If I was a Giants fan, I'd be, I don't know. I'd be very, very upset. What's your take on this, Rodney Perry?
Well, first of all, Giants are a horrible organization all the way around anyway. But I will say this, man. It's a good thing for all running backs. Over the last decade, we've seen running backs skew downward So Saquon Barkley getting a payday is a good look for running backs everywhere. So this is a great look. It's proof that a guy can still be the workhorse. He can still be in the league, and he can still be that guy. And so Saquon Barkley, maybe we'll see like some of the other backs get their money as well. But conventional wisdom over the last 10 years has been they've been going away from backs. It's been all running back by committee. So to see these guys, getting their money is a good deal.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Now, I'm getting ready to change I want to be able to fit this topic in this conversation today. So I'm going to start it. We're going to talk about the rest of the news in a second. Rodney Perry's on this floor right now with y'all. Jason Hayes on the floor with you all. But here's the thing, guys. I'm getting ready to have this conversation with you guys, and I want to talk about this debate and have you both tell me what your thought process is on this debate process. I want to talk about Michael Jordan. I want to talk about LeBron James, and I want to talk about Kobe Bryant. Okay. So with that being, can y'all both hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay, good. Like as long as you can still hear me, I guess. I want to start with you, Jason, first, and you tell me what do you think, literally, about this Michael Jordan versus LeBron James debate, and why we keep skipping over Kobe Bryant. Talk to me about that.
Well, in regards to Kobe, for me, it's easy. I mean, to me, Kobe was never in the conversation. For me personally. I saw he just mimicked everything that Michael Jordan did. And I pay attention to head-to-head stuff, right? Like whenever Kobe went head-to-head against D Wade, T Mac, Bron, anybody, the best players of his era, Melo and all those dudes, they gave Kobe smoke. You know what I'm saying? Oftentimes, like D Wade specifically used to cook Kobe and hold him under his average. So for me, Kobe did a lot of winning, but he did a lot of winning when he had the best team, when he had Shaq, when he had Powell, when he had a bunch of people. Bron was winning with trash. Mike was winning, was kind of winning with trash. So to me, Kobe never elevated his teammates personally. Now, in terms of like LeBron and Mike, for me, I ask myself, who would I rather play with? Right? I would rather play with LeBron James because everybody's professionals. Everybody works on their game. To me, LeBron does so many things excellent. Mike was a phenomenal scorer. He was a great defender, but he was a lousy teammate. He didn't do all those other things that LeBron does, and he didn't have the longevity that LeBron has had. And I don't understand how people are trying to like use longevity by LeBron as a pejorative, saying, "Oh man, he's been around all the time." Dude, that's hard to do. So that in itself, should elevate him above Mike. To me, off top.
Jason, this is why I love having conversations with you, bro, because you always make me think of something I didn't think. Now, I'm going to jump in this in a second. Rodney Perry, what's your take on this Michael Jordan versus LeBron James debate? And my first question to you in this debate is, why do we skip over mentioning Kobe Bryant?
You know what, man? We see LeBron James just went over 50,000 points, which is remarkable. And I'm a big LeBron James fan, but I saw Michael Jordan with my own eyes, and being from Chicago and watching Michael Jordan through those times, it was nothing like the phenomenon that was Michael Jordan. The one thing I always talk about is people that changed the game, and I don't think Kobe actually changed the game. I think Kobe elevated the game, but he didn't change it. Michael Jordan changed the game. LeBron James has changed the game. Because of that, you got to think they were trying to find the heir apparent to Michael Jordan for years. Harold Miner,
Grant Hill.
Grant Hill. It was so many guys that were, this guy's the next Michael Jordan. And then you got a guy come out of high school with all expectations and live up to him. That in itself makes LeBron gangster to me. But at the same time, if you're a real Laker fan, there is no substitute for Kobe Bryant. And Kobe had one misstep in real life when he brought Shaq into his mess. But other than that, he had a pretty stellar career. And so shout out to Kobe Bryant, and don't turn your back on him.
Hey Rod, real quick though, to me, Kobe's like at best the third best Laker. To me, he's not better than Magic, and he's not better than Kareem. See, to me, Kareem was my GOAT until LeBron. I never thought Michael Jordan had a better basketball career than Kareem did. Nobody did more than Kareem at every level. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's why, to me,
Okay.
Mike was never in the conversation.
But Jason, this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. And I was just having a conversation with Marquise about this too. You guys are comparing statistics, and me and my boy Kev talk about this all the time. You guys are comparing statistics and the eyeball test. See, in the eyeball test, you got to be able to figure out and separate the eyeball test versus statistics. Because if you're going to say statistics, to me, Bill Russell is the best all day because of statistics speaking. If you're going to say again, that's still the
Championship speaking, yes, but not statistics.
Well, if you want to go statistics, who's better than Bill Russell? Name me best. Who's
Kareem
better than Russell?
Abdul-Jabbar. He was the all-time lead scorer when he left the league.
Okay, now you're doing all-time lead scorer,
and he won at every level.
Okay, but you're doing overall statistics, or you adding championships? Because I'm doing overall statistics and adding championships.
Anybody that didn't play with all black dudes got to take a back seat for me.
That's what I say, right?
But that needs to hit on
Kareem got six.
Okay.
No. Bill Russell definitely deserves his flowers. But
how many does Bill Russell have? How many does Bill Russell have?
Like 11
he has
right?
11. But Frank, they had 8 teams back then.
That's not the point. The point is if we want to skew it down to versus how many people, those were the best at the time playing.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a team sport, guys. So
it is a team sport.
The whole conversation about rings is a bit skewed to me because your team matters.
Right.
People tell you, well, Michael Jordan never won a ring without Scottie Pippen. True. LeBron James won with a lot of different people. And, Kobe Bryant didn't win without Shaq, but he did. And so, at the end of the day, great players inhabit time frames. But LeBron James has proven to us that he's having the longest time frame we've ever seen. Like, I don't see a guy right now in the NBA that can last 20 years.
Oh.
I don't know if there's another. Huh?
And still be at the top? No.
I don't know if there's a guy that can sustain it. And we see some great players. We watch it, Paul Pierce and KD on the sideline. You watch, so many great guys that are in broadcasting now. And it's like, these guys were great, but you can't maintain great for 20 years, man. It's a lot.
The game has changed. I don't know if we're going to ever see anybody do what LeBron is doing, but there will be people playing in their 40s because the style of play, the way the game is now. You know what I mean?
I think Luka just extended LeBron's career 5 or 6 more years.
I don't know about 5 or 6. I know definitely.
No.
2.
Hey.
I'll give him 2.
He was gonna play 2 anyway.
I'll give him 2, yeah, for sure.
So you saying 2 this year, next year, or this year, next year, next year?
No, this year and 2 after this one.
Yeah, and 2 after.
Oh, so y'all saying 3 more years?
Yeah,
I'm saying he might get 5 years after this one. Because he get to play out the ball. He can still jump. He can still slash. Dude, he's making threes. He's not running. He's not bouncing the ball. He's doing a great job being a second guy.
But Rodney Perry, if you're saying LeBron James is going to add another 5 years, you're going to say LeBron James then defeating Father Time. I can't agree with that because nobody defeats Father Time. This is not a game where you're sitting in the pocket and you're throwing the ball. This is a game where you run, jump, and have to defend. You know what I mean? Your speed will slow down.
So you telling me LeBron James is showing signs of decline?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said he will in 5 years.
Let me tell you something. LeBron James gonna play with his grandson.
Let me ask you this. I'm starting with Jason. Let me start Jason. When we were talking about the heir and parent and everything else, Rodney Perry brought up a good point. Or you did. I don't know whoever did that. We were talking about the person saying, okay, we're looking for the next Michael Jordan. I will say some people can say that they were looking for the next Michael Jordan until that person was so good that you wouldn't even mention Michael Jordan's name. Is LeBron James that dude? Because once you got that next guy, you know what I mean? Like they stopped talking about that's the face of the league type of guy that we're looking for. Correct or incorrect? What do you think, Jay?
No, I totally agree with that. But that's in the problem. Like as a person who works in entertainment, and Rodney can tell you this, everybody wants the next and different until you give them the next and the different, and then they say, well, I don't recognize that, so they don't want to buy into it, right? LeBron was always more Magic Johnson than Michael Jordan. He's he's a pass first point guard in mentality kind of person who can just do a lot on the court, right? And because he wasn't playing the way Mike played, shooting 50 shots a game, doing this and doing that, the way Mike did it or the way Kobe replicated, all of a sudden he was a lesser player. But now when you look back over time, Bron got 50,000 points, man, as a pass first person, and the rebounds aren't close. The assists aren't close. There's no other statistical category other than scoring and maybe steals that Mike
I'm about to say
even is in the
his
same
steals is way
ballpark.
up there. Michael Jordan's steals way up there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Mike steals are up there, but every other category, man. And also think about this: Bron's first 20 years in the league, he had gone to the NBA Finals 10 times. So
okay, but Jason,
people say, they say Mike won 6. He's 6-0. But Bron went 4 more times, and he took bums that you can't even name. So how do you discount? Elevate Mike for not even getting there, and penalize Bron for getting there and losing with trash. Come on, man.
Okay, but Michael Jordan was all NBA defense first team, regular season MVP, right, all-star selection, scoring champion, all NBA first team, NBA champion, finals MVP, and he did it 4 times. 4 times. He did all that 4 times. Nobody
but
has
Frank, a lot of that is pageantry though, man, because I saw Kobe Bryant make first NBA all defense, and I saw D Wade, T Mac, Vince Carter give him 30 every time they saw him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't put a lot of weight into that.
I do, because you never saw nobody do that for a year 4 times. 4 times. So until you give me somebody who did that 4 times, that's what my debate is with Michael Jordan versus Kobe. And then again, Rodney Perry, I'm going to throw this to you either. Would it be fair to compare? Because this is what I don't like doing. This is why I hate about the Michael Jordan, LeBron James debate. I think it's 2 different eras. I don't even like comparing the eras. I was telling Kev, my man Kev, I said, I don't even like comparing eras because the eras was too. We're talking Jordan at his height in the 90s. We're in 2025 right now. Rodney Perry, talk to me about the eras in the game and how you see it, because the game has changed completely to me.
I think this conversation is less about the stats and less about the people and more about the killer instinct, right? And so LeBron took digs early on because he was a pass first guy, that he was less of a competitor, right? And the reason people yield to Kobe is because Kobe seemed to be equally the competitor of Michael Jordan. And you know what I always say, Frank? That comes down to the daddies, man. Like, no. Players with fathers move different. We know LeBron James was estranged from his father. Michael Jordan had a father in his life, and so did Kobe Bryant. Even though reluctant, even though he had beef with his father. So the long and the short of it is, man. To answer your question, man, eras do matter. Whether you're talking Bill Russell, whether you're talking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the eras matter. And in that time, there was nobody better in that moment. And then I think more people didn't get rings because of Michael Jordan than more people didn't get rings because of LeBron James and didn't get rings because of Kobe Bryant. More people didn't get rings. Charles Barkley didn't get a ring. Who else didn't get a ring? A lot of guys.
Karl Malone. Patrick Ewing. Like, just go down the list.
Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing. So it's some great players that they got to stand on the outside. And so when you think about eras, you got to ask yourself, this whole era where they talk about cats, we didn't play with other people, they should have. You should have went. You should have went carry your ass to Chicago, Charles Barkley. You got a ring. Play with your guy. Play with your buddy. I want to beat him. You stupid.
Well, I will say this, Rodney Perry. Portland put together a boat so they can come out the West and ultimately beat when Michael Jordan said, and they still didn't get a ring. So sometimes when Jordan out in the league, it's sometimes in your car, sometimes it's still not. Jason, let me ask you this: but do we overlook the eye contest? Like last question on this: do we overcount or do we put too much stock into the eye contest? Which are into the eye measurement of the sport of the player? How do we do it? We do it too much, not enough.
I mean, I'm a basketball dude, right? So I'm constantly assessing matchups, right? So when I look at Mike was 6'6", at his heaviest maybe 220. You know what I'm saying? And Braun was is 6'8", probably closer to 6'9". He played at about 260. And he has every skill set that Mike has and then some. So I know Mike ain't guarding Braun because Braun's gonna kill him. So if you want to talk about, Mike being a killer or whatever, listen, there's no professional athlete in this game that ain't a killer. Everybody's a killer, on the pro level because you had to do too much to get to that. So I think the media ran with coloring LeBron in that way because when you go to the stats, he got more game-winning shots than Mike. And that wasn't recently. I mean, that was a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? He's clutched down the stretch in so many other ways when the people don't talk about because they fall in with the narrative that the media created about LeBron and they don't necessarily acknowledge the facts. So I just know head to head, man, Braun was gonna cook that boy. I'm not saying Mike wouldn't have got his, but he too little, man.
Okay. All right. So speaking of the GOAT conversation, Rodney Perry, let me ask you this. We talk about the GOAT conversation. Should Steph be part of this GOAT conversation? Because I heard them ask that on First Take today because Shaq said that last night. I was like, yeah, y'all might be tripping on that one. Steph be part of the GOAT conversation, but then some of them were agreeing. So I was
mean, maybe that the GOAT conversation, but definitely excuse me, definitely one of the best shooters of all time. He might not be the greatest player of all time. He's definitely if you got the ball in his hand and you got somebody you want to get a ball to take a 3-point or more, long 2 or more, it's Steph Curry. And not only do that, he get to the basket too, and he's small. I give credit to anybody that play under 6'6". In the NBA, you cold. You play under 6'6", you cold. You're among giants all the time. You still got a viable career, and and he overcame his early injuries that he had in his career with his ankles and stuff. Because they were saying Steph Curry wasn't gonna be nothing. And then then we seen the guy evolve into this generational talent. But also, he got his during the LeBron James era.
Yeah,
and you can't beat that. He got his.
He did. It's fair to say, Jay, that if Steph Curry was to be redrafted, he'd probably come out number 1 in the draft. You know what I mean? If they were to do it all over again, you know what I mean?
In his year, for sure.
Yeah,
I don't even remember who was in his draft with him, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely would.
Who went number 1 that year? I mean, it's probably like some bum, that washed out of the 2 years.
Honestly, CJ, I don't do that. I don't do that. If you're in the NBA, you're not a bum.
You're right.
You're not a bum.
You're right.
I mean, you was probably the best at your college. You probably the best in your neighborhood, the best for miles around. Where you grew up. So you're not a bum, man. Even if you like some of these guys on like Gilbert Arenas show and stuff like that, I'd be like, who is that dude? But guess what? Them guys was cold.
Hey, Rod, the thing about that, I mean, you're absolutely correct because I tell people all the time, they call people bums in the NBA. I said, dude, the 15th man on any NBA team will kill anything in your city. They'll kill everything in your city. The 15th man.
I used to play pickup games years ago. Mitch Richmond would come to the gym, and when I tell you this dude, you tell you this dude never missed a shot.
Yeah, but Mitch Richmond was one of the best in the league when he was playing at the time. Like he was an Olympian. Yeah, he was.
But he would play on the court with us and just abuse us.
Of course he would. He wanted to try to break a sweat. That's what he tried
to wear a t-shirt. He's going to get a t-shirt wet.
All right, so let me just talk to you about the Jay. You get the next question up, man. So we're heading into the playoffs right now, and they were debating on TV earlier today. They were debating Golden State versus the Lakers. They were talking about this. The Lakers are 9-1, and the Golden State. I mean, the Lakers are. Yeah, I forgot, but the Golden State's been 9-1. It's in the last couple of games, last 10 games. The Lakers are storming. So here's the thing that blew me away with the stats. The Lakers are now second in their conference. You know what I mean? They leapfrog past Houston, the Grizzlies, everything else. So I heard a debate. Are we not paying attention enough to the Lakers actually being that team and could get to the finals? You know what I mean? What you think, Jay?
They're always paying attention to the Lakers, man. I don't care what's going on. If they win one game, everybody's firing up, the parade floats. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But um, but I think it's just a reflection of how tight everything has been all year in the Western Conference. So if anybody make any kind of run,
Jay's
put any,
talking, not me.
what I'm saying? If they put any amount of runs together, I mean, you're gonna move probably 2, 3 slots just because everybody is so jumbled together all season long. So I think they talk enough about them, man. I mean, but they're definitely dangerous. I can tell you that.
Yeah, they are. They are. Rodney Perry. This is what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at, you got in the stands. You got OKC, Denver, Memphis Grizzlies,
Hey,
Houston.
you clicking this? You clicking the buttons, Frank, or somebody else?
Me and somebody else. Why?
They put us on the screen when we're not talking. So they got Jay up now.
No.
No,
Well,
no,
I think
you
I
was
can.
up, Rod.
Use up.
Okay. I'm up right now.
Yeah.
No, no.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm up now on my phone. But go with it. Go with it.
Okay, all right, it's all good. So, what's the question, Frank?
The question was, you got the Lakers #2 in the West, OKC, Denver, Memphis, Houston, Minnesota, Dallas, Clippers. The Lakers going to lead past all of them and make it to the finals?
Man, you know what? The West has always been a tough division, tough side to play on. But how about this? Um, they're saying OKC can go all the way. I don't personally believe it. You know, I ain't worried about Steph and them. Like, God bless them, but I ain't worried about Steph and them. The OKC young boys, I don't think they now statistically they should whoop everybody's butt. But the reality is, until you to play the same team 7 times straight and won, you can't talk to me about that because you got to win the series and a series like that. A guy is constantly learning about you. They watch the tape on you, and that's a big difference. We talk about many times, Frank. Once they get the homework on you, it's a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
And JJ Redick has been balling out as a coach. He's been making great adjustments. And to me, the tell the table of a coach is what you do in crunch time, like what you do when it's time. And I think we're gonna really find out who JJ is when we see some of those crunch time moments in the playoffs.
Okay. I guess the question then to you is, Jay, what about Golden State? Because Golden State's playing really, really well too. So you see Golden State making to the finals and they leaping over the Lakers, Jay?
I mean, I'm never gonna say there's no chance, for anybody, that's playing, they got pros and savvy veterans like what they got. But man, that's a tough road to hold, for an older team like they are. Um, but also, I mean, even though Jimmy's kind of fitting in, how is it gonna work, come playoff time? Who gonna take those shots down the stretch, between Jimmy and Steph, and other people. So I mean, I'm giving them a chance, but I just think that it's too much heavy lifting for them to overcome, that gauntlet that they got to run, especially if they end up being like anywhere from like that 6 to the 8 slot. That's going to be tough sledding because I mean, you got to see all the big dogs in the West, on your way, to the finals. That's asking a lot.
Yeah, you do. And we are overlooking the Dallas Mavericks, Rodney Perry. What's your take on that? We
Oh, we ain't
overlooking.
overlooking Dallas Maverick. They done.
No, they
When
done.
when
It's over.
Kyrie go down the other day, man, I was so sad for them, man.
Yeah,
And
man.
it's like the owner, the GM, that really jinxed that team, man. You get rid
Mm-hmm.
of Luca, your boy go down,
Anthony
AD
Davis.
go down,
Ben
and
Simmons.
Kyrie go down. Goodness gracious, man! It's just such misfortune, bro. And it made you sad for the city of Dallas because they was it was really rallying around Kyrie Irving.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard them talk about this too. They're talking about how Kyrie has cleaned up his image.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
His
he
image
did.
has changed over the last year. So they say he may be out, definitely the rest of this season, but it may go into next season as well. So this is a tough road to hoe for the Dallas Mavs, man.
Yeah.
They
Jay,
can forget it this year though, for sure.
Yeah, it's
Jay,
over.
what's your take on this, Jay? What's your take? Because Kyrie, he had like I was really hurt for Kyrie more than anything because he's in a negotiation this season. He was becoming a free agent, and he wanted,
Yeah, he was up for a max deal. He not gonna see that money.
Yeah, yeah. What's your take, Jay?
It's tough to see, man, but see, I just think that people again, They're following, what the media says. Like, listen, trust me. If that GM traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers, ownership said trade Luka Doncic to the
Mhm.
Lakers.
Right.
There's no way the GM is making that decision as the GM or even pitching it, to be honest. I don't think the ownership wanted to pay Luka that max deal because they didn't believe in Luka, and his ability to stay healthy, to be fit, and to win. So aside from that, it's tough for Kyrie to get this break like this because the dude was balling out this year, and they had a real chance, with their lineup that they got if they all came back. And Rod, I think Dallas is still going to pay him that max deal because the ACL is almost like a broken ankle now. They fix those things so easily. So I still think now the open market, probably not, but I think Dallas is going to pay him.
I
They
think
don't
so
have
too.
to though. They don't have to.
They got to now
Ain't no
because
reason to
Luka's out
do
in the
it.
building
And they proved they cheap. They got Luke out of there. Why would you pay max deal to an injured dude?
because they ain't got nobody else, and they know what the
I mean,
skateboard.
but he might not play for 2 seasons.
Nah, he'll be back by like December, man.
But
ACLs are
he,
quick now.
I guess, man. I hear what you're saying, man. I hope you're right, man. But for his sake, but
Yeah,
he might be leaving another $100 million on the table.
Yeah,
he
he
might have
might.
to leave something on the table though.
Yeah, he might. He might. He got. I mean, he might. All right, so let's switch to gears because looking at the time, man. Let's switch to the NFL. I want to get some of these things in here, man. And I want to start talking with the Bears because Rodney Perry, your Bears got Joe Thuney. Joe Thuney came from the Patriots, went from the Patriots to the Chiefs. He won some. He won. He was left guard, right? Let me see. Yeah, he plays left guard, and he's an All Pro. He blocked Tom Brady for years. Then he went right at Tom Brady. You know, left. My man went to the Chiefs. Played with Patrick Mahomes, got him some Super Bowl rings with the Chiefs. I got to look up how many Super Bowl rings he has. Because honestly, I think he has 5. I think he got about 5. Now he's the left guard for your Chicago Bears with Caleb Williams, man. So he's all pro too. He's all pro. Are you happy with this move right now, Rodney Perry?
I'm ecstatic, man. If they can get a good offensive line crew in there, this is a great first move, and I think we'll see more. Like somebody finally have got my text messages. I've been texting the Bears for the last 5 years. Give me offensive line, not just for them. I did it for me when I played with the Bears on Madden. I remember to play my guys on Madden because I can't keep nobody out of my backfield. So no quarterback is good if he's on the ground. I think they realize that.
Hilarious. Let me ask you, Jay, what's your take on this? Because now I think Caleb Williams might actually see a better season because people overlook the left guard, man. You know what I mean? That only happens to be
That protects you. He protects your backside. Yeah.
yeah. Everybody, people keep overlooking that. What you think about this?
Well, I mean, first, I hope he still got something left in the tank. I mean, that's a lot of seasons, you got under his belt. But offensive lineman played for a long time, so I'm pretty sure he'll be okay. But it seems to me like the Bears kind of went the long way around, to get where they should have been already. Like normally they start with that O line, to protect the quarterback, but they went out and got a whole gang of skill players. They are
Right.
loaded at wide receiver. They got a tight end that's nice. They got some running backs that's cool. So it's about time to get around to like protecting the quarterback and getting old linemen that can open holes for the running backs. So hopefully they'll make a run on that.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that. So let me ask you about this one, Rodney Perry. You got DK Metcalf requested a trade. Broke news today. DK Metcalf requested a trade to get out of Seattle. Where do you like to see DK Metcalf? Because I ain't gonna lie, I was shocked that he was requesting a trade. You know what I mean? So what you take on that, Rodney Perry?
I mean, it ain't really no quarterback in Seattle. I get it. I mean, if I'm DK Metcalf, I want to go somewhere with a great quarterback. I would like a young quarterback. Maybe DC, maybe the Commanders. Maybe Detroit. A contender, somebody that's a contender now that I can really help. That can work with a DK Metcalf, and it remains to be seen. But I mean, I'm a big fan, man. I'm glad it was time for him to go somewhere else. Good job. Get out of there, dog.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Where you want to see him at, Jay?
It's only two places that I think like really need somebody like him. First off, I've been saying it all year long. Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Penix can spin it, and they could use a quarterback like him. And then my squad, them boys down there in Duval County, Florida, the Jacksonville
Jacksonville.
Jaguars
I knew
could
you were gonna say
absolutely
that.
use DK Metcalf.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two, and they both have quarterbacks that can sling the rock. Both teams got running backs, that can keep it, to
Mm-hmm.
where he ain't seeing, so much double team or whatever. So to me, Jacksonville or Atlanta makes the most sense for him. And they got cap space. Well, at least Jacksonville does.
Okay, that makes most sense because they do have cap space. Let me ask you, Roddy Perry. The Cowboys are making moves too right now. Cowboys restructured Dak Prescott's deal. They free up $30 million. So Dallas Cowboys are obviously trying to make some stuff. What you think about Dallas Cowboys making some moves?
I mean, Jerry Jones ain't afraid to spend the money, man. But he is a cheap old son of a gun. So if he find 30 million, he'd do it. Plus that 50 million they got last week as well, added to the salary cap. I think that's gonna play into it as well. But Dallas is tired of being a laughing stock, man.
Mhm.
Dallas need to make some moves so they can get back to their rightful place at the top of the league.
Well, Rodney, let me ask you this: do you think they feel some kind of way with the Washington Commanders leapfrogging them now? Because before everybody was talking about in their conference, hell, everybody was talking about just in their little league in their what are they? NFC East, I think they are. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was thinking because that is what the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Commanders.
Right.
Now it's nobody's talking about the Cowboys. It's just the Eagles and the Commanders in that division. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking everybody's just saying, you know what? Cowboys ain't even part of that conversation. That Rodney Perry, right?
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but the Cowboys will always be in the conversation, just like the Lakers are always be in the conversation, just like the Raiders are always be in the conversation. It's certain teams that, whether you like it or not, they're always going to be part of the American fiber.
Mm-hmm.
And even when the Cowboys, people love the word against the Cowboys. Even when the Cowboys is horrible, they still good. And people are still looking for them. Is it a big deal that the Commanders, the Cowboys, and Indians are kind of lost their position? Yes, it's Eagles. Yes, it's Commanders. But hey, you can't count them Cowboys out. Watch them
Okay.
boys.
All right. I think you can count them out, but we'll see. Jay, what you think about this right with the Dak freeing up that money, everything? Do you think they freed up the money to go after somebody that we're not paying attention to?
One thing, for all the Dallas bashing that I don't think people talk about enough is they very rarely miss in the draft. Like they draft really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I just think people are always, slaves of the moment. You know what I'm saying? Because like right now, the Eagles just won a Super Bowl and the Commanders made it to the championship game. So now Dallas is irrelevant. Dallas still got a lot of talent down there, man. And Jerry doesn't mind spending money. Dak is not a scrub quarterback, no matter what people say. CD Lamb is no joke, no matter what people say. If they get a legitimate running back in there, they pay Micah, make some changes here and there, then I mean we can have the same conversation about Dallas that we're having about the Commanders next year, right? About the Commanders right now.
See, that's the reason why I brought this up. Well, I'm glad you said that, Jay, because the reason why I wanted to mention Dallas first before the next story is because I see this person landing in Dallas, and that person is Devontae Adams, because the Jets released Devontae Adams today, and people are overlooking the fact that Devontae Adams is getting up there in years. I'm sure he wants to play in indoors. You know what I mean? And what makes sense for Devontae Adams to go, because he's got a $36 million hit on the contract. What makes most sense? If you get CeeDee Lamb, somebody on his left side with Dak Prescott, that could bring the Cowboys back real fast. What's your take, Rodney Perry?
Hey, Devontae Adams is still cold, man.
Ew.
Devontae Adams is still cold, and you don't know, you wrap your mind around that. Hey, if you the Dallas Cowboys, you can get your hands on Devontae Adams, do it. You know what I'm saying? First of all, he ran great, crisp, clean routes. That can't do nothing but help Dak, because Dak needs your ass to be wide open before he throw it. And so So that's gonna make a difference, man. So I like that. I like that. That's a good Pelican beef there, Frank. Frank, I like
I didn't even call it a Pelican brief. Thank you, Rodney Perry, but I shall do that. I shall do that.
that.
Jay, what you think about Devontae Adams? Because to me, the best fit for Devontae, I looked at teams. There's a lot of teams out there that need QBs. The best fit to me that would make a bigger difference, is literally Dallas Cowboys. What you think, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, especially since I think he's going to be on the cheap. They don't have to pay, that same money because I think the Jets got to eat some of that money.
They got to eat a lot of
So
it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I'm right now just gonna boil down, to where he thinks that he can get playing time and where he can win. And if they can convince him that he can win in Dallas, then yeah, I mean, I can see him going there. But on top of that, the thing with Dak is people say Dak is trash. He's not. And I think that the Dallas Cowboys run a similar kind of West Coast offense that's kind of similar to what Devontae's been in. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'd be that tough of a transition.
Interesting. Rodney Perry, you still there? Rodney Perry's bit. Okay, Rodney Perry. My question for you is: Vikings did not tag Sam Darnold. Did not. I repeat, did not tag Sam Darnold. If they did, he would have got $40 million on that tag. And obviously, that speaks a lot on why they didn't tag him because they didn't want to pay him $40 million. Do you think the Vikings are going to regret not tagging Sam Darnold, or he's ultimately going to end up walking? Because I think he can walk now. Because I think he can leave. What's your take?
We talking about that franchise tag, am I right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, here goes, man. I think Sam Darnold got exposed in the playoffs, man. He had a great season, great regular season, but he got exposed for being immobile. And the league is changing. The league is changing. If you don't have a mobile quarterback, you need to go sit down and take several seats. And so, a guy like Sam Darnold, that's a classic old school quarterback. Maybe he can have a life in out there with the Raiders, maybe. But most of the teams in the league gonna be looking for a quarterback that can extend plays, like like all these young quarterbacks, including Josh. All the quarterbacks, including the white boy, can extend the plays except Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is sitting in the pocket right now in my living room.
I bet he is. I bet he is. What's your take on this, Jay? How you look at it?
I mean, 40 million is a lot, on a tag. So I guess they felt like go out there, test the free agent market, see what you can get. But I think they're banking on what he's going to be offered is going to be somewhere south of $40 million a year. So they're just rolling the dice. I think they want him to come back personally, but they don't want to have to waste their franchise tag and have to take a $40 million cap hit, for somebody, that they can probably get for a little bit less if they wait it out.
See, I think that too. I think that they want to wait it out and see what it is because I don't think anybody is going to want to pay him $40 million either. Because honestly, his numbers this last year is the only time he had numbers that make him $40 million worthy. But people are paying you for what you do in the playoffs, and I think that's the problem that he had. You know what I mean? Okay, White Chocolate says, but not at 40 million and make Daniel Jones type mistake like the Giants. Great point. Excellent point. You don't want to make that type of mistake. All right, Rodney Perry, let me ask you this. T. Higgins is one of the only 2 or 3 people who got tagged. He got tagged second year in a row. Cincinnati Bengals said, listen, we can't let you go. We're going to try to figure it out and everything else. But according to reports coming out of Cincinnati, he is highly upset. He ain't just a little upset. He's highly upset because he got tagged. You know what I mean? And he wanted the ability to be able to either go somewhere and get paid more money or be able to do something. He got really, really, really upset. Do you think Cincinnati Bengals are going to be able to keep T. Higgins for the year, or they're going to have to let him go?
Well, I don't think he have no choice. Once they put that franchise tag on it kind of protects you from all the vultures out there and these owners and people that would snap you up. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, T. Higgins, he got to ball out again. I mean, he had a great season last year. He got to have another great season to he can't get hurt. He have no misfortune because he need to get through this season. Whatever happened to the Bengals, he need to get through with a stellar season, and that'll put him in the money after that.
I agree with that 100%. Let me ask you, Jay, what's your take on that?
To piggyback, what Rod just said, man, because that's what makes it particularly disrespectful, right?
Mm.
Because he done performed, he's honored his contract, and instead of giving that man the money that he's earned, they're tagging him for the second year in a row, and he got to stay clean in order to get the more guaranteed money. So, come on, man. I mean, it's awful to do that. I mean, just let him walk. If you don't want to pay him, let him walk this year.
No,
You know what I'm
sir.
saying? Why stall him out this year? I mean, they can come back next year, and have to avoid injury and all this other stuff and put up numbers, to get paid by somebody else because you already know you ain't paying him. So what are you doing? Let him go, man. I mean, he honored it, his contract. He been good to you.
He been great to you, honestly. Great, not
Great.
good. Yeah, not good. Great, great. Go ahead, Rodney. You want to say something?
Yeah, absolutely. JD makes a great point, man. But here goes. I mean, this is a business at the end of the day. If, as long as you can get a guy to work for free, you get him to work for free. I mean, of course, it's not free, but that franchise tag kind of frees you in time in limbo. So it
Mhm.
forces him to have another great season. And we do know once guys get that money, they get fat, they relax. So I think that's what we're seeing kind of play out in front of our faces.
Okay, I'm gonna just leave this with you, Jason, and I'm gonna circle back with Rodney with this last thing. Do you think that he gets this franchise tag? Do you think he's gonna have one of the phantom injury? I shouldn't even call it a phantom injury, but my thing is with people who get hit with tags, and they get upset. I bet if you look statistically speaking, I bet the majority of people who get hit with franchise tags in their negotiation year get upset and they somehow or another they wind up with an injury. That same year. I'm willing to bet it's probably up in the high 70 percentile. What you think, Jay? Am I over? Am I tripping?
Nah, I mean, you're definitely not tripping. But what I'll say is, I think it depends on how well or not well their season goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if they're winning and they're headed towards the playoffs, he'll be all in. But if they have another year like what they had this past year, and they still calling wide receiver seams over the middle,
Yeah,
to have him have to go up and catch it, with a 240-pound strong safety back there or linebacker, then
yeah,
yeah, he gonna be hurt a lot because
yeah,
he ain't trying, to like get himself killed out there with no guaranteed money.
yeah, yeah. Well, you want to say something with that, Rodney Perry? You want
No,
to add on to that?
I would say, again, I think that a guy like T Higgins got to stay well because he's not gonna get his payday if he don't overperform during this season. And I think just kicks the ball down the kicks the can down the hill down the road a little bit for the team. So they eventually gonna have to belly up to the bar. Hopefully he don't get injured in the meantime before it happens.
They sure will. All right, let's switch the conversation to this Shador Sanders thing. I don't know if you all been paying attention to the Shador
Yeah.
Sanders conversation, man. I'm tripping with this, Jay. I'm not. Listen, I heard what they were saying today on ESPN. I was paying attention to it a little bit, trying my best not to fall asleep. I'm not liking what I'm hearing about Shador Sanders coming out of, obviously all this combine and stuff like that. What's your overall thought on this Shador Sanders? And if you're sitting at home, you're not paying attention, you're not knowing really quickly, Shador Sanders has been getting some slack and flack and called too confident, cocky, and everything else by a couple of people. And then there's some people on the sports talk shows who are defending him because he's one of the only black men who's ever come through the combine who's already rich. You know what I mean? He don't really need to play football. You know what I mean? Like he wants to
Right.
play football. There's a big difference. What's your take on this, Jay?
I mean, here's the thing, bro. What professional athlete isn't confident? I mean,
Mhm.
what GM would say, I don't want to do who's too confident? It makes no sense. So it tells you that it's about something else, right?
Mhm.
I caught this video of former Bengals wide receiver TJ Husmanzada. He said that the coach that said that he's a turtle because he's a coward.
I saw
He
that.
said, "Don't be a turtle. Stick your head out, say something, and then retreat back in the shell and hide behind it." He was like, if you believe that, stand 10 toes down and defend it in the light of day of everybody else. It makes no sense what they're doing. They did it to his father. They gonna do it to any other black man, that has confidence. Joe
Mhm.
Burrow walks out wearing Miami Vice suits and 16 chains. He got swagger. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Shador Sanders comes out. You know, he's just confident, man. You know, another thing, they didn't talk about how he was confident in Will Howard at the combine when he was down. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that played with this kid says he's a wonderful teammate. His teammates love him. Of course, his coach loves him. So if you got somebody that his teammates love, that's all you need to know about the man. Everything else, I mean, you know, that's your problem. That's a you problem.
It sure is. White Chocolate said this: if you're not trying to change the franchise or the culture, don't get at me. Sanders said that, Rodney Perry. That's a quote unquote. And I was like, that's right. He did say that. He did say that. What's your take on the Shador Sanders situation, Rodney Perry?
Hey,
Because it is.
this is once again an opportunity for us to shout out fathers.
Right.
Uh, you got a Shador Sanders. His dad was arguably the best player to come out of college in his day.
Right.
And so he's taught these guys to have a little swag. He's taught these sons to come out there and to be excellent. So this is not just being boisterous. This is also having the wherewithal to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the kid will come out. I think he's gonna be NFL ready. I think he gonna be able to run a team, and he gonna be able to run it in such a way. Like I said, it ain't about the money. He's also our first generation NIL.
Mm-hmm.
So you know the guys, he's already a millionaire, you know, and so but he also he cheap. He don't like spending his money. I don't blame him either. So I mean, the long and the short of it is, I like the kid, and like JD says, man, you know what? Let him be. And I think Shador Sanders. I think time will only tell us what he becomes. And I hope our father time is kind to him.
Do you think it's the hate is because it's Dion's son, Jay?
Yep.
Of course.
Absolutely. They
Mm-hmm.
hate Dion. You know what I hate Dion? Because not only was Dion talking that stuff, he went out there and backed it up. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And so again, it's the media. They are masters at minimalizing people and things. Deion Sanders, everybody I've ever seen talk about him say he was one of the hardest working people in the locker room. Always, he studied film. He was in the weight room. He did everything he had to do to be great, to back up whatever he was saying. And then they try to make it trivial, like he talked too much. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rodney, you want to add on to that?
I mean, JD is absolutely right. I mean, Deion Sanders. One thing you do when you Deion, you lead by example, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these kids got it honest, man. Do they have a little bravado? Yes, but they got it from the daddy.
Yeah,
You
they do.
know,
They do. They
they got it
do.
from their daddy, and their
They do.
daddy has proven that you not only have to you got to talk the talk, but you got to walk the walk. You can't talk the mess if you ain't cold. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's nothing in my mind that say this guy's not going to be a cold quarterback moving forward.
Last question. People were saying, particularly about Shador, is this when Shador said, "I went to literally 2 college programs, Jason, and I changed them. I went to Colorado and Jackson State, and I changed those 2 programs. What makes you think that I can't go to an NFL and change your culture too?" And some people ruffle some feathers. I'm thinking, well, I look at it from the pro and the con side. You know what I mean? Both of those programs weren't D1. You know what I mean? So if you want to say that, it's a little bit, presumptuous to say that, but it's a possibility in my opinion because he did do it, and he was a Heisman Trophy candidate. You know what I mean? Am I
Right.
looking at it different from what the norm, or how are you looking at that? Because it's true, he did change 2 college cultures. Not too many people could say they did that. Jay, what's your
Well,
take?
I mean, first of all, they all D1 programs. Jackson State's Division One. You
Okay,
know,
that was Division 2.
it's
Okay.
a Division One program, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Colorado is in the Big 12.
Yep,
So
definitely.
it's, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he put up numbers on every level because the game is the game is the game is the game. If you can
Right.
play the game, you can play it at every level. All you got to do is adjust, to who you're playing with and the speed of the game. Now, tell me what fan base would object to a quarterback that their franchise is going to draft talking about, I'm coming in to change course, I'm coming to win. Who would find that objectionable in a realistic way? You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense. So, what fan base wants to keep losing? None of them. So if you are offended by a player saying, I want to come in and win and change the culture of all this losing that's been happening, and you find that, repugnant on some level, then it ain't about him. It's about something else. It ain't about winning either.
I 100% agree with that statement. Statement of the day. Rodney Perry, what you think? Because coming from a quarterback, because he said it. He changed two cultures, two colleges. What you think, Rodney Perry?
I mean, he did. I mean, if you can make a HBCU nationally known, nationally accepted, that's a big deal. Colorado was never on television. Now they on every weekend. That's a
Mm-hmm.
big deal. And to stand under the bright lights and be able to perform in that on those lights, that's a big deal. So how could he not do that in the NFL? I think he's primed to be that guy. And it's just a matter of seeing where he lands, man. It looked like he can go in early in the first round, so we'll see.
Honestly, I can't remember the last time Colorado was mentioned in the same sentence as the Heisman Trophy. I can't remember that at all. I don't know
Right.
why you all can't see me, but I don't know what happened with my.
Rashawn
It,
Salam, that's the last
it's
time.
it's still spinning on my end,
Okay, as
I
long as
mean,
you
it's
can hear.
just a blank screen with you
but
on my part. Mike.
it might be still recording when you look back at the tape. It might be
Well,
there. So
as long
hopefully you're not doing nothing crazy on the video.
I'm trying to say. It's being naked or nothing like that. I want to thank you all for joining the show. Tomorrow, I'm sure a lot more guys are going to jump in and talk more about this, and I'm going to be a lot better, well rested, because you all know, man. Coming. My daughter got married this weekend. I've been traveling, came back, and jumped right into it, man. I'm exhausted, so
Yeah.
So how was the wedding? You excited?
yeah, very, very. Wedding was really good, man. It was, it
Wow.
was, it was, it was something, man. Something like I
Now
think.
you got to do another one. Like you got more children.
Yeah, of course, man. I got two more other daughters, man. So, but there's nothing like seeing your daughter get. I don't know if yeah, Rodney, you got daughters. There's nothing like seeing your daughter get
And we ain't
married.
getting nobody away yet though.
Yeah, me too. I got two daughters.
So you understand, like
I got
I don't know,
five.
Yeah.
woo, bro. It's something. It's something. It's a funny feeling. They almost made me cry, Rodney Perry and Jason Hayes. They almost made me cry, bro. Like, but,
Weddings always take me out. I hate to see a player go down.
and I play went down. I play it down. Play it down. Play it down. Play it down.
Mayday.
Rodney, where you at this weekend? What you got going on?
I'm headed out to Charlotte, North Carolina with my buddy Tonex, do a Tonex and Friends Friday evening. And we just hustling, man. And the podcast is doing great. Thank you for watching Comedy and Crime. Mad love, mad respect. Next week, the episode about Bill Cosby. And if you got any crime stories, hit me up. Email me, rodney@rodneyperry.com. If you got any crime stories, hit me up with any crime stories. Because we about to record our last 5 episodes for this first season.
Rodney, there's a billion crime stories. You ain't gonna have a hard time finding any. None
Indeed.
at all. Jason, tell me everybody how they can follow you, bro.
Hey, find me at JD Hayes over on fan base, man. That's what I'm focusing on right now.
There it is. There it is. Tomorrow's show, we are going to pick back up with more people on this LeBron versus Kobe, not LeBron versus Jordan. We're going to do LeBron versus Kobe conversation tomorrow. And we're also going to do QB versus QB conversation tomorrow. I really want to talk more about in depth about Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. I want to start diving into looking at some of these comparables about how people compare one versus the other. I want to talk about that tomorrow's show. I was thinking a lot about that. Couldn't wait to, throw that out there. Thank you all for watching the show. Show's called Box Seats on Humor Mill. Thanks, Rodney Perry. Thanks, Jason Hayes. See you all tomorrow. Thanks to White Chocolate, Kevin Lane in the background. Thank you all. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate you.
All right. Yeah, Frank, holla at your brother.